Nice. Okay, so
I think air would be more like metal.
yes, but for now, let's talk about these five elements. The mind always wants to get the same, and they are two different systems. This is very important to know because I've tried to put them together for 20 years. Not possible. I swear. I have tried. So I can tell you there's things that relate, but it's never going to, because metal is air, but at the same time, metal is the crystals. Metal is the earth. You know, so it's air because the lungs and your opening, it's related to that part, but it's really like the essence of the earth is metal. So you see, when I tell you that, it's like, oh, I don't understand. So it's the air and it's the crystal. You can't understand. So let's just work with the five element method of Chinese medicine, and then we'll work with the five element method of Ayurveda, okay? So we're really, really like solid and not trying to do all this mix, because then you won't get anything really. Confused me a lot. So I just wanted to share a little bit this process of the five elements. It's good to see like in everything you do. So you're starting a project. Like, when is the idea of the project born? In the water. In the water is when you plant the seed. The water is like when the seed is in the moment lying there, all the potential is there. Yes, the idea is there, everything is there. It's covered by snow. Snow, yeah, like water covers it to congelate it, to keep it like dormant. Is that dormant state. Like the basics of water is that it's also fluid. That's the yang part of the water. But the yin, the feminine part, is you're just there. Everything is there. It's just sleeping. It's like us. Like we have all these gifts and potential. It's just lying there for us to wake up and release whatever is not letting that happen. So the water is when you're in meditation, you're in silence, you're like, okay, I want to do a workshop. I have all these ideas. Thank you. I'm here open. If this is meant to be, just come through me. Thank you. Yeah, when the ideas start coming and you're like, yes, I'm getting it, wait, and you start writing and planning, that's the wood element. You've planted the seed, the idea is starting to sprout. Okay? That's the part, so you forget about the element. That part is, one part is like, you're dormant, you have full potential there. Yes? And full emptiness, full potential right there. From there, the sprouting, the opening, the planning, the getting together, the creation. Then the ecstasy, the cusp of that creation is the fire. Yeah? So wood would be the spring, right? Spring, everything's blossoming, everything's sprouting. Fire is the summer. It's the hottest part, and it's like most expansion. When fruits really get juicy and sweet and mature, that's the fire. The sun is what gives them sweetness. Without sun, there's no sweetness in fruit, even that they're there. So that's what they need. The element they need to activate is the fire. And then we pass on. Then after the fire would come the earth. That the earth is the ashes, as Sola said. The ashes, the wood is burned, and then the ashes come back to the earth. The earth is the moment where you assimilate. Yes, that fire expand, but after that expansion, as we said before, if you just stay in the fire, you're going to be very crazy. All over the place, you don't know what's happening. You need to settle down. You need to let it sink back again and come back into balance and order. That's the earth. That's the part of the face of assimilation. Super important. In yoga, super important. You can do the best practice ever. If you don't assimilate, people are not going to get the medicine. It's going to be actually against the nervous system and against the whole balance of the body. Okay? So it's super important. Assimilation is when we go and get the fruits. And it's the abundance. The mother, the earth, brings up the fruit. So we go and get the fruits and thank you, mother. It's gratitude. It's love. It's connection with that moment of the process when we're like, oh, thank you. These are the fruits of my work. Right? So much work that now I can collect the fruits and eat them and share them. And then after that in Chinese medicine we call the late summer. And
It's,
Sola put it
Indian,
also
it's called Indian summer.
Indian summer.
Yeah.
And Sola also put it there because the earth element is like the transition, is the way to assimilate everything in the life. So you can have the earth element even in between every season. That's how the Chinese see it, because they don't see you just pass from one to the other. There's always a transition. So that transition is assimilation. That's the earth element. That's why you see in the practice, we always come back to the earth. You'll see us doing this a lot. Yeah, mama, here, ground it. Because we get so crazy and high. We need to bring it down. Okay? We need to root it. We need to activate the legs for Muladhara chakra. The earth is super important for that. That's the way the energy keeps moving. Then after that, when everything's settled, now the leaves are ready to fall down. So that fall comes in. The moment of release and letting go. And I love this method because it's not, you don't start like, okay, I want to let go of the old, I'm going to cut with all this stuff, I'm tired. And it's who's cutting the stuff? Who's releasing? Who's releasing? Ego, right? Saying what we've talked for a couple of days. Ego, mind, I want to, and you're forcing something that maybe you want to cut something that's not ready to fall. Why should you choose what's ready to fall? Let it fall. How? Following the plant your seed, start growing it, start connecting, start activating, and then just enjoy, and then the fruits will come. Oh, wow, I let go of that. That's not coming up for me anymore. Wow, thank you, thank you. You're just observing and celebrating. Yeah? So that's a good way to see it, that you're not forcing anything to release. You're trusting the process, that the universe knows what you are ready to release. It's not you. Because maybe you'll release something that will put you in chaos. So it's trusting that process. The leaves fall down, you let go, you release emotions, stuff, patterns, everything that's cutting and releasing, it's about metal. And if you see the organs, they're all related to that release. I inhale, lungs are all about letting go, you're clearing yourself. And largest intestine, what would you say? So it's all about release, letting go of the old stuff. And then that brings it into the winter, hibernation. Okay, you're ready to let go of everything? You're not going to start again like, no. Wait, relax. Come to your center, breathe, be in silence. Let the new energy come and flourish in you. Don't force the process. So that's when after you let go of everything, you're in the void, you're in the emptiness. You're in the darkest of the night, midnight. Yeah? So sunset would be the metal element. Sun is coming down, you're letting go, bye-bye, beautiful day, it was great, thank you so much, release. Then you go into darkness. The darkness of the night, the most dark, that's the water element. That's why it's also related to fears of darkness, of getting lost, of not finding yourself, of being in emptiness, of not knowing, of not having a structure, of not so much fear in that. So that's why it's so important to come into this place of I lose myself just to find myself again. And find new parts of myself that I didn't even know existed. But only losing myself I can find and appreciate those parts.
And those healing sounds, they came naturally just by the emotions. Like, for example, where did this chew sound come from? How does it relate to the water element, right? And in our fear and our insecurities, well, when we're scared, you know, what do? We naturally make the sound, right? Like, and when we're cold, right? You know, we're cold, yeah, we go. So there, hence the sound. So that's how the Taoist, thousands and thousands of years ago, you know, it's all practical sense, but they made it into a practice to create their life force energy and sustain it for a long time.
And also very important that in the shamanic, when I went into the shamanic Chinese medicine, all this theory of like, it's all through meditation. They just sit there and you get the whole map of the body, of the meridians. How did they know 5,000 years ago, come on, that the liver had a meridian that went all the way to here? They could draw it for you. There's drawings 5,000 years ago, all the way from the liver up, right? with no computers. Now you go into a computer, you measure they can measure your meridians, they can measure where exactly you have your blockage. Like there's photographs of this, you can see that. And right there they put a point and boof, you're relieved. It's amazing what it does. They didn't have that. Now they can prove it 5,000 years ago. How did they get there? How did they know? Just inside, download. That's how it works. They're trusting. And then they're exploring to see that, yeah, that's really how it works. It's really related to this sound. And the sounds also, as she's saying, something that naturally that comes, but it's also the vibration. Now they can measure when you do that sound, it vibrates in those organs. Why? I don't know. We don't know. That's just a vibration. Same reason why the ooh resonates in the first chakra. If I do the ooh and you put a measuring, that's the color red, and you'll be vibrating at a certain frequency. That's how it is. It's part of the laws of the universe that we learn to use them in favor of our shamanic work, of the alchemy work we're doing.
And also in today's contemporary science, the vagus nerve runs up along from the brain all the way down our body organs and into our sexual organs. And it's mostly activated when we make a sound because it goes right through and around the jugular veins, So when we make a sound, all of these healing sounds, we are activating our organs. We're activating them to detox and move and shift and align.
So when we have the balance of the 5 elements, we come to this natural state that we've been talking about, where you're just naturally healthy, with energy, you're present. All the qualities of your soul just come up. It's just normal. It's just the garden. The Chinese see it also as a universe and also as a garden that we were talking before. If every element in the garden is balanced and it's fertile soil, enough water, enough sun, enough elements in the earth for everything to grow, everything just explodes with love and light and beauty. And all the animals come and play around. It's the same in our body. If it's unbalanced, then there's stagnation and life force is not present.
So inside of us, it's the Taoists believe we have a small universe amongst a bigger universe. And we're connected, right? So we want to balance our small heavenly universe. And we can balance the yin and the yang energies, the inside and out, the earthly to spiritual, stillness and motion. There's always all of those things to balance out. And when they're in harmony, then we can have vitality and more life force, more chi.
And just to see like everything about Tao, the Tao is the whole, the source. There's something very nice that if you're trying to explain Tao in words, you come out of Tao. Like at the end where you come, it's to the infinite, the unexplainable. So it's not that the 5 elements are taking us so deeply into this world of spiritual connection when you're just one in oneness, but it's the doorway to get to the Tao, to get to this infinite where you're lost, and there's not even a mind that can say, oh, I just felt this and that and I just had this amazing experience of that. Then that's not really the Tao. You're still in a level of Anandamaya Kosha, of bliss, but there's still somebody explaining the whole thing that's happening, so you're not still lost. So this is just a way to transcend and go into this place of love, pure love and light.
We have to be able to create inner alchemy in order to make, this impact in the world. We have to be that vessel. We have to be really good, 100% ourselves as potential healers or anybody, you're all out there and you guys are going to be the masters of working with community and people and impacting family, so you have to make sure that you're solidly pure And how are you going to get to that state? You have to work with your energies. You want to create inner alchemy. So you can have this person with a beautiful body and a beautiful yogic body, and they look like they have everything, right? But if you peel open the skin, what's inside of them? What's there? If you can attain inner fulfillment, inner balance, and inner harmony, that's huge. It's effortless. You don't have to do much, and you can make an impact.
Once you're there, once you're balanced in the body,
Yeah.
when you're around people, then you impact people easily without doing much.
You can just, when you get to that, when you reach that state of enlightenment, then people just want to gravitate towards that. They see that light and they say, oh my gosh, I want some of that. What is that? You know, and you don't have to convince anybody, or you don't have to, you know, put your ego out there. There's no ego. At that point, the ego is gone. And you're just yourself. And you're complete. And that's a big draw. The Jing Qi, yes. So, yeah, we could mention it. The Taoists and in traditional Chinese medicine, they're all about harmonizing energies, right? So we have an X amount of energy when we're born, and it's in the form of Jing Qi. It's what's called Jing Qi. And Jing Qi is derived from your kidney. So you only have an X amount, and you don't want to deplete this. And ways that this gets depleted in men is through ejaculation, for one thing. That's an example. But also, and for women, when we're menstruating, we lose some of our Jing Qi, right? We start to deplete. But also stress, toxic emotions. You know, that's why we talk about all of these negative and positive emotions in our intestines, in our organ system, because we want to be able to shift those energies. We want to be able to release and liberate from our tissue memory all of this negativity, so that we can have more energy rather than being depleted all the time. So that's Jing Qi. And it's levels. There's 3 levels, and it's called the three treasures. So the first is the Jing Qi that we're born with. And once you refine that, there's another level, and it goes into what's called Qi. It's just Qi, Qi. And this is our life force. This is what we're all doing right now in our practices, in our asanas, in our yoga training, in our shamanic training, in our self-care training. We are cultivating this level of our energy, our life force energy, our vitality. This is the second one. The first one is Jing. This is what you're born with. And the second one is Qi. And
Qi.
Qi. Qi. And the third one is where we all want to be able to reach eventually, is the Shen. S-H-E-N. S-H-E-N. Shen. And this is where we raise ourselves to higher states of consciousness. And we've refined everything else so that we are at that level. Jing is the first one. That's limited. So what we can do, we all have Jing Qi, but when we start to create more vital life force energy, you can almost elevate the Jing Qi that you have. You could raise it to another level, but you can also deplete it.
So therefore,
You can't get to the Shen unless you've cultivated your Jing Qi.
essentially the Taoists are suggesting these cease to ejaculate all from the
The way that works for men is you have to have a regular practice. It's a whole particular practice that when you have this training, you can take the energy, this orgasmic energy that is meant to procreate, and you're releasing your seed, But you're not going to be releasing your seed. What you're going to do is you're going to take that in and you're going to nourish your body cells. You're going to nourish your brain. And so it takes particular practice. When you have a regular practice, it's okay, depending on the men's age, to release, just to clear the lines. But let me tell you, as a Taoist practitioner, the men who practice this on a regular, they also call it, if you Google it, you're going to see it called sexual kung fu, right? Otherwise known as sexual kung fu. But the men who practice this on a regular basis, and the men who are very strong Taoist practitioners, you could put a gun to their head. They don't want to release a drop of semen at this point because the benefits outweigh, you know? So, oh yeah, they refine in their body and they have more life force and their hairs start to grow back. So many wonderful things that they just don't want to release it. Even though my master, who's Mantak Chia, even though he says it's okay to do it, he just like, I have so many great benefits from this. I don't even want to, you know.
What about women then?
Yeah, women. We're gonna have a whole class for the women, and that's gonna come next. Yeah. We will talk about all the things, how you women can take in your jing chi and have a more refined mojo.
And our men are gonna doing our. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe the way to go is to keep the class separate from the
I can leave my camera inside.
She's gonna know.
She's gonna be
So like a
filming,
little
so she
time
can tell you
camera.
girls.
Practice would be different senses, but I mean, it'd be beneficial for us to know.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why, yeah, but it's a whole thing. It has to be taught. It has to be taught properly. And yeah, it takes a while. So that's why, private coaching, that's where private coaching comes in, or couples class. And that's outside of the realm of this yoga course, for your hours, but in another workshop.
You know what's a great book? Multi-Orgasmic Man. Multi-Orgasmic Woman,
Yeah.
Multi-Orgasmic Couple by Mantak Chia.
We'll send you all the resources via email. I'll send Margaret all the things that you need to know, okay? And then
Yeah.
you can show the men in your lives. You can just have him read this book, and that'll enlighten him.
I had quite a few men borrow those.
Yeah, right.
It's really nice when it actually gets practice, it's really different.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. For the women, oh my goodness, can you just imagine? I mean, this is endless. Endless. Endless pleasure for the
Nice
women.
to meet you. We'll be home back. It's okay, but
So I just want to say that's what's important is that when you practice these sexual methods and these particular exercises and with your partner, what's going to make an impact on your practice is love. You have to have a pure heart. So when a man practices and a woman practices her part and they come in together, it's called healing love because it literally does heal your body. So when you have a pure heart, both you and your partner have a pure heart, and you bring this kind of intention, it makes all the difference. It changes the chemistry of the orgasmic energy. So the Taoists, when they started to discover this, they didn't do it for sexual gratification. That wasn't their purpose. And they didn't even do it for procreation. They did it for their life force energy. That was their main priority is, how do I increase my life force energy?
and longevity probably, right?
All of that. Well, that takes into longevity practice.
There is just a little question for me. So I know that in Tantra, I don't know exactly which practice, but they say that so man shouldn't release the semen. So we
Yes.
know that it's like
Once.
But for women, I heard both that she should have lots of orgasms or not orgasms.
Oh, the woman is different. The woman, you could have unlimited orgasm.
So it's good.
not
Yeah,
like
you
this.
confirm that it's good to have orgasm.
No, only for the woman because she's not releasing sperm. Yeah.
But another thing to know is not that men don't have orgasms. It's a different kind.
Yeah,
it's
right.
not out
Right.
here.
Not
It's all over your body.
Yeah.
It's very different. And when you
It's-
try to, then you're starting to choose the other one because this one lasts 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and then you're drained. The other one can last so long, and you're pumped up. You can go on and make love as many hours as you want to because you're not coming, you're not draining it. So you keep going and going and going, and the woman has 100,000 orgasms too.
Oh, just keep going and going.
That's another book that's written by you. The 100,000.
So that's the reason why Taoist men, you could put a gun in their head and they said, no, we're not going to ejaculate. Because they have multiple orgasms. I mean, and each orgasm becomes even more and more intensified with each session. So like, for example, it's easy for a woman to be multi-orgasmic, right? A woman can have, 5 or 6 or 7 or even 10 orgasms all in a row, right? A man, when they practice this, they're going to experience a full body orgasm and also as much, 10, 15 at a time. It's incredible. It's incredible, but it's like
10 to 15 orgasms.
full body, yes. It's not all concentrated on the genitalia, it's all over. It's like a wave.
So each wave is
Sometimes it's a little one, it's like a little wave, and sometimes it's like, it's like that. Yeah. And also for the women too. Women has a woman become multi-orgasmic, and each time it just becomes stronger and more intensified. So we'll talk about that more when we get to the women's class.
So just a little again question. You said that it's through menstruation, but I know that menstruation cleans actually the body when we have menstruation.
But it's draining because it's part of us that's coming out. Yeah, just like
Yes,
the men's.
it's true, it cleans, but it drains. It's both.
Yeah.
Because I know that man doesn't have this ability to clean their blood, so they need to donate blood. Because we have menstruation, we don't need to donate blood because we clean automatically each month. So yeah, I'm curious, but I can wait. Yeah, I definitely can wait.
All right. So the whole thing for now, like you'll have your jade egg class and go deep with Sola. We'll have our multi-orgasmic session too, guys. But yeah, for now it's just the basics. We just want to share what are the 5 elements, and just know that every practice of the 5 elements, it's building your chi. It's building this energy, even sexual energy. For them, that's the basic. Like, we're maybe so intrigued to just start doing this sexual connection and activation and everything, but how are we going to do it if we haven't done it with ourselves? And that's the 5 elements: learning about them, learning about the phases, learning about the organs, learning how to detox them, how to work with them, release them, the sequences, working with the meridians.
How to transform negative emotions to positive emotions so that you don't deplete your jing chi, so you have more life force energy, so you're more present for your people, for yourself.
And it's the same theory of what we've talked. The Toltecs, the Mayans, Tantra, and Chinese medicine, they all see the same. It's about clearing the channel for the energy and the love to flow through. And you see, Chinese medicine explains it in a different way, but it's the same thing. Releasing and transforming emotions, because whatever you don't share and you don't transform, it's going to start killing you. Slowly, it's going to start depleting your energy. It's like this cancer you have that's just drinking energy, and it's like a little, I see it like a, like a being there just munching. Every time we have the emotion and we're not learning how to release it, it gets stronger, it gets bigger. And in Chinet Sang, we'll do a little bit, but you can actually feel the crystals in the organs, and it really hurts. It's not that you just feel them. Like you touch them and it's, whoa, it's like a needle coming through, right?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. We're actually gonna have a sampler of Chinese Sang in a little bit. When do you think you want to start that? Does anybody have any questions about the 5 elements and the organs and what we just talked about?
Will you be summarizing them in the materials?
Yeah, it's all in here. It's all in your notebook.
You would have the theory, yes, the written theory, but if you turn back, like
Yes,
before the
so
sequences,
here's the page right here.
you have
paper
everything
that looks like
explained.
this.
What page is that?
There's
It
no,
says no
there's
numbers.
no
It's
numbers.
towards
It's just,
towards the end.
it's just behind the plastic. Behind the plastic, right there, you'll see it says inner smiles. That's the summary of the 5 elements.
Yes. So now you have all the colors,
Before
the
that,
sounds, the
before
emotions,
the plastic, like
everything.
before it comes in. Yeah. So there you have the sounds, you have the organ, you have the emotions.
Yeah, this is a good chart that shows you the actual organ. Like the inner smile.
Like, yes, there's such thing.
I do it every day.
Me too.
You know, yeah. The inner smile is this, you know, where you're taking the negative energy in your organs and you breathe that in and then you release with the sound. The sound is, and the vehicle of your breath releases that negative emotion. It's a way to release it out. That's why we're releasing constantly with our vocals. You know, the woo and the shh, and the ha. When you ha, you're releasing from the heart, the heavy burden in our heart, the impatience and the hatred. And that could even be a leftover from our lineage of our ancestors, because that passes through our kidneys when we're, you know, when we're just in our fetal stages. We have a lot of unexplained trauma that we have, unbeknownst to us, where it's coming from, right? And those things get passed on and it embeds itself into our tissue memory, in our fascia. So it's really important to connect with your organs and to be able to have a way to release these negative emotions. Like, I'll give you an example. I was with my friend in LA, and we went to a coffee shop. And in the coffee shop, we had this big conversation, and I left my purse with my iPhone and all my ID and money, everything, it was all there. And we left, and I just realized after like 30 minutes into the ride home that I left my purse in this coffee shop. Okay, so I said, oh my gosh, okay, I'm gonna go 5 elements, inner smile. Okay, let me just embrace my earth element right now. And I put my hand here. And then it grounded me instantaneously. I was grounded. And I started to inhale this golden, beautiful sunshine light, just inhaling it in. And then releasing the worry. I release and let go of the worry. And I did that continuously until we got back to the coffee shop, and you know, it was right there. My purse was still sitting there where we left it. But I didn't go into panic mode because I used that tool. And I used it to calm and ground myself. You know, otherwise it would have just been depleting my energy. This is how I look at, you know, my perspective is this going to deplete my energy, or can I maintain my energy?
Do you notice like the changes, I guess, after a while of practicing that? Or does it something like if I started today, for example, that you would notice like any shifts or
Yeah, you could use it right away. I mean, yeah.
but do you notice?
You start to build a patterning, a different kind of circuitry. So rather than getting into reflex and, you know, you get into reactive mode, then you immediately go into this calm state.
Let's go over them with a little bit of movement. So we go deeper into them, and then we go to the other phase. You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get up. We're gonna do it simple because it's all about simplicity. So the question you asked, if it's done regularly, like especially before you go to sleep, is the best, because then you won't go with all the emotions maybe you didn't even know you had. And you're like, oh, this stuck anger, you couldn't even talk because it was your mother, you don't want to talk about to your mother or your partner or whatever, and it's there. So before going to bed, you release. That's what also Manta Chia says. It's so good to sleep like in a, totally empty.
Yeah, the triple one more sound.
Yeah.
The triple bird. Yeah, so this is a really good one because, we have monkey minds and it's always, always in motion. We're thinking about things. We're laying down and, our cell phone's here and we're still on the go, right? You don't really have a moment of peace. And your mind wants to be able to be in peace mode. And especially when you're going to sleep, because you want to be able to get into that deep REM cycle, right? So this is called the triple burner sound. Because why it's triple? Because it's engaging the upper chakras, the middle chakras, and the lower chakras, right? In the yogic term. In the Taoist perspective, we just call it the upper and the middle and the lower centers. And so how you would do it is you can do it standing up, but in your bed you can also do it laying down. So you bring your arms up, inhale, and you bring your fingertips together, and you let out the he sound. And bring your chin back so it's a little locked. It's not so tight, but it's just a little in so that your neck is straight. So. That ground you? How do you feel? Isn't that very grounding? Yeah.
Nice.
So we're going to do some qigong. Okay, some of you have asked me what is qigong. Qigong is meditative movement. It comes from Chinese art, martial arts. But the way that the Chinese people view it is movement in meditation. And it's with a lot of purpose, and it's with a lot of consciousness. So I'm going to show you 2 qigong exercises. One, because we want to clear our intestines, right? We want this to be emptied out, so we can receive more, the blessing of more information, and also to give more to each other. And so we want this to be clear and detoxified. So in the morning, what I do, some of you have asked me, what's your personal practice? What I do, because there's so many. I mean, I study with Mantak Chia, and I have all the certifications to teach all kinds of things, but I only take a little bit that serves me, and this is one of my favorites. In the morning, so this is what you do. You inhale the chi of the earth, the trees, and the nature. Inhale that in, bring it into your hand, and come into your hara, your dantian, your center point, and you're going to roll your spine up so that the navel is pulled all the way to the kidney, so you're rounding your spine like this, and exhale fully with your tongue sticking out. And now you're going to massage your intestines from left to right, keeping the exhalation. You don't want to inhale yet. You're still keeping the exhalation. And now, as you take a breath in, We're gonna make the lung sound, the metal element sound, coming down and easing that breath out. Very slow, just like we did in the morning exercises, where the breath was very slow and sweet and coming out. So let's do it again. How do you feel?
It's good to show.
Right? That uptake, you know, like when you're, let's say you're in a swimming pool and you're just coming up for a breath, it's that all of a sudden, you know, you've emptied out your lungs completely and you're uptaking that breath of air, this big uptake, and letting the exhalation be slow and smooth and sweet and coming down.
And when you inhale,
Yeah, just a quick burst. It's like you're grabbing that air fully, quickly, taking it in, and then releasing it. Yeah.
When you're massaging your intestines, where exactly are you putting your hands? And then like,
Well, there's two things going on. The first one is you know, in yogic, you know how there's a pose, the nali, right?
Nauli.
The nauli. You know, in nali, you do this, and you cave your stomach in, and then you do the wave, right? You're doing this, you know, the wave, where your intestines are kind of looks like this. So it's similar, but I don't want you to be so fixated on that, because it's not really that. But when you're doing this, I'm actually moving it like in that nali position. But what I'm doing with my hand, now I have chi hands, because you brought the chi from the nature, and you are moving and familiarizing yourself with all your intestines. You know, if there's some blockage and there's some stuck energy, you're going to move it. And you're going to massage it from left to right. So you're under your So it's you're following the wave. So if your intestine is waving like this, you're going in and you're following that wave too, from left to right.
And how many times do you do it, Sola, in this sequence?
This is excellent to do in the morning. First thing when you have an empty stomach and you wake up in the morning. There's a whole sequence of things to do, but if you're just going to do this, you bring in the chi energy and you come in. You stick your tongue out to release all the exhalation, all the breath. And your tongue is still out. And then you just move from left to right. How many times? Like you could do this 5 or 10 times. Yeah, 5 or 10 times. And it's really good. It's really clears everything else out in here. It's kind of like you're doing a little chi. We're going to call this like another chi massage. It's not chi san, but you're still clearing your intestine.
And we'll be doing for every organ, like in your sequence, there's this one, and there's for every organ, we'll have that self-massage too. We're gonna go over it meticulously.
Today?
Yeah, in the sequence.
So yeah, so that's that. And then another thing that I like to do is I like to embrace the tree, you know. So imagine that you're hugging the tree and you have your feet shoulder width apart. You're in what's called a horse stance, so your pelvic is nice and relaxed. You're not sticking your head out, you're just nice and relaxed. And you bring your hands out and activate your fingers so you're just not hanging out, you're activating your fingers so the tendons are engaged, right? But at the same time, your neck and shoulder is soft. So you're not like this, but you're just like this. Right? And now, bring your wrist in. Activate your fingers so that you are embracing the tree. You're hugging an imaginary tree. And what you're going to feel is from your feet through your inner thighs, the earth's energy rising up. So now everything is solid. You're grounded like the earth element. You're grounded and you're centered. And if somebody was to push you with one hand on the hip and one hand on the shoulder like this, you cannot move at all. You're just soft, right?
Try it.
So, partner up. The person next to you, just see if you can be pushed. Yes. Feel the energy from the feet all the way in the inner thighs. So the strength comes from here. The root comes from here. Your legs are like the root of the tree. You're solid as a rock. That's right. Whoa, this is great. So this is. Wow, everybody is solid. So this is a way for you to embody the feeling and sensation of groundedness, and the feeling of being centered, and the feeling of having made up your mind, your resolve. Whatever it is that you're going to do from here on, this is your resolve. You're grounded, you're solid in your decision. Aho.
Is there a breath practice in that?
And then when
So you breathe into your dantian. You could actually even meditate like this for a long time. Just when you're,
3 hours.
yeah, you could just stand here and meditate. But in your mind, continuously setting the intention to resolve an issue, resolve something in your life. You want more groundedness. Have that and embody that. And for me, this is much more doable than me sitting down and thinking about how I'm going to resolve my issues, and this and that. I have to be active. I have to be in motion. So Qigong works for me. I want to be doing something while I'm engaging in my thought process. Okay, so y'all ready for some self-Qi Zang? Maybe we should take a break. If you have to empty out your bladder, it's a good time to do it.